Imagine a young woman named Sarah. She stands at the edge of a bustling city, her heart heavy with uncertainty. Just like many of us, Sarah feels lost in the whirlwind of life. She juggles school, work, and personal relationships, but it all begins to feel too much. The pressure builds, and she often asks herself if she's on the right path. Is this all there is, she wonders, feeling overwhelmed by doubt and sadness. One day, while sitting in a quiet park, Sarah comes across an elderly man feeding the birds. Intrigued by his calm demeanor, she strikes up a conversation. "How do you stay so peaceful amidst life's chaos?" she asks. The man smiles softly and shares a story from his own life, one filled with struggles and challenges he faced during tough times. He tells her about moments when he felt like giving up and how he sought meaning in the darkest hours. As they talk, he mentions a powerful phrase that has always stuck with him: "It is finished." Sarah learns that these words were spoken by Jesus on the cross when he completed his mission on earth. It resonates deeply with her as she realizes that even in his final moments, Jesus acknowledged the weight of his journey and its purpose. Just like Sarah, we often face our own battles. Whether it's stress from work or personal struggles at home, many of us carry burdens that feel too heavy to bear. We want to find peace but sometimes feel lost in our own lives. This is where Jesus' message becomes profound and relevant. When Jesus said, "It is finished," he wasn't just declaring the end, he was proclaiming victory over sin and despair. His journey was long and filled with sacrifice, yet through it all, he fulfilled his mission, to bring hope to the hopeless and light to those in darkness. The completion of his journey means that we can let go of our own burdens and trust in something greater than ourselves. Sarah leaves the park feeling uplifted by the conversation with the elderly man. She starts to reflect on her own struggles, understanding that she doesn't have to fight alone. The weight she carries can be shared and lifted through faith. As she walks away, a sense of calm washes over her. In our daily lives, we can take this message to heart. Just like Sarah learned to embrace Jesus' powerful words, we too can find solace in knowing that it's okay to feel overwhelmed sometimes. Embracing "it is finished" allows us to acknowledge our challenges while also finding strength and hope in faith. So let's carry this message into our hearts today, reminding ourselves that every struggle has a purpose and that we are never truly alone on our journeys. As Sarah walked away from her conversation in the park, those powerful words, "It is finished," echoed in her mind. She began to wonder, what did Jesus truly mean when he spoke these words? The phrase holds deep significance, especially in the context of his crucifixion. To understand this moment, we need to go back to that fateful day on Calvary. Jesus had been through unimaginable suffering. He endured betrayal, denial from friends, and mockery from those who didn't believe in him. As he hung on the cross, facing excruciating pain, he was not just a man, he was the Messiah fulfilling a divine purpose. It was during this intense moment of agony that he declared, "It is finished." These words were spoken in Aramaic as tetelestai. This term carries much depth, it means completed or accomplished. It signifies the fulfillment of his mission, the purpose for which he had come to earth, to bring salvation to humanity. It reminds us that every sacrifice made during his life, every lesson he taught, and every moment of his ministry led to this crucial point. In the Christian faith, this declaration is monumental because it signals the end of the old covenant governed by laws and rituals. Jesus' death marked the beginning of a new covenant rooted in grace and love. No longer would people have to rely on sacrifices and rules alone to be right with God. Instead, they could find forgiveness and hope through faith in Christ. As Sarah learned about this context, she realized that Jesus wasn't just ending something, he was establishing something new, offering a path to peace for all who believe in him. In the midst of her own struggles, Sarah began to see how this message transcended time and space. Just as Jesus finished his work on earth, she could also find closure in her own battles. This message isn't just for biblical times, it's remarkably relevant today. Many of us carry our own burdens, regrets from the past, worries about the future, or feelings of inadequacy. When we reflect on Jesus' words, it becomes clear, we can let go of these weights and trust that God has already paved a way for us. With this understanding, Sarah felt a wave of peace wash over her. She realized that by embracing "it is finished," she could acknowledge her struggles without being defined by them. Just as Jesus completed his mission, she could find strength in knowing her journey is also part of a bigger story, a story filled with hope, renewal, and purpose. As she continued her walk, Sarah felt inspired to share this revelation with others facing their own struggles. she knew that together, they could find comfort in Jesus' words and embrace the promise of healing and transformation that comes with faith. As Sarah continued her walk, the significance of Jesus' words, "It is finished," weighed heavily on her heart. But to truly appreciate this powerful statement, she realized she needed to understand the journey that led to his crucifixion. In the years before this moment, Jesus had embarked on a mission unlike any other. Born in humble beginnings, he grew up in Nazareth, where he was not only known as a carpenter's son but also as a teacher and healer. He traveled throughout Judea, spreading a message of love, compassion, and forgiveness. Along the way, he performed miracles that awed crowds, healing the sick, giving sight to the blind, and even raising the dead. Each miracle revealed his divine power and showcased the depth of God's love for humanity. However, Jesus' life was not without sacrifice. He faced constant opposition from religious leaders who felt threatened by his growing influence and teachings. These leaders clung to the old ways, the laws and rituals that had governed their faith for centuries. They struggled to accept that Jesus was ushering in something new, a relationship with God based on grace rather than strict rules. Leading up to his crucifixion, Jesus shared intimate moments with his disciples. At the Last Supper, he spoke of betrayal and sacrifice, foreshadowing what was to come. It was during this meal that he established what we now call communion, a profound act meant to remind believers of his body broken and bloodshed for them. The events unfolded rapidly after that night. Betrayed by one of his closest friends, Judas Iscariot, Jesus was arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane. The trials that followed were filled with false accusations and rushed judgments as Jesus stood silent before those who sought to condemn him. Despite knowing the pain ahead, he remained committed to fulfilling his purpose. For hundreds of years, prophets had foretold of a Messiah who would come to save humanity. Every prophecy pointed toward this climactic moment, the sacrificial lamb who would take away the sins of the world. As Jesus hung on the cross, bearing the weight of humanity's burdens, he fulfilled these ancient promises through his suffering and ultimate sacrifice. As Sarah thought about these events, she recognized their relevance in her own life. Just as Jesus faced trials and challenges on his journey, she too could find strength in her struggles. Each hardship could be an opportunity for growth and deeper connection to her faith. She realized that when Jesus declared, "It is finished," he was not only acknowledging his own suffering but also offering hope, an assurance that followers could experience redemption. This understanding stirred something profound within Sarah. She felt empowered to face her own uncertainties with newfound courage and faith. She knew she had a choice. Just as Jesus finished his work with love and purpose, she could seek closure in her own challenges and embrace her future with hope. As Sarah continued to contemplate Jesus' words, "It is finished," she felt a deep desire to understand what those words truly meant. They were not just the last words of a man in pain, they were a powerful declaration that carried immense significance for everyone who believes. First, she realized that when Jesus said, "It is finished," he referred to the completion of his earthly mission. From the moment he began his ministry, he was on a journey with a clear purpose, to reveal God's love and offer salvation to humanity. He spoke about forgiveness and grace, inviting people to turn away from their sins and embrace a new life. His teachings challenged norms and liberated many from guilt and shame. Now, as he hung on the cross, it was the culmination of all that effort and sacrifice. Every miracle performed, every parable told, every moment spent with his disciples had led to this pivotal point. But Sarah understood there was more beneath the surface. Jesus' statement also signified victory over sin and death. In the Bible, sin separates humanity from God, creating barriers in relationships and causing suffering. By accepting the punishment for humanity's wrongs, Jesus shattered those barriers and opened the door for reconciliation with God. When he declared, "It is finished," he was announcing that through his death, he had conquered sin once and for all. This victory means that believers can live without the weight of past mistakes, free from the chains that hold them back. As she absorbed this knowledge, Sarah felt warmth spreading through her heart. She reflected on her own struggles, her feelings of inadequacy and her worries about the future, and began to see how Jesus' victory could apply to her life. Just as he overcame darkness on the cross, she could also triumph over her own doubts and fears. Moreover, "It is finished," was also an offering of hope and salvation. Jesus made it clear that salvation is not something we have to earn through good deeds or strict adherence to rules, it's a gift freely given to anyone willing to accept it. This message offers comfort in uncertain times, a reassuring reminder that no matter how lost we feel or how heavy our burdens appear, we can find refuge in him. Inspired by this deeper understanding, Sarah felt empowered to let go of her worries and embrace faith. She realized that acknowledging Jesus' completed work allows her to step forward into her own life with renewed strength. Each day presents a chance for growth and healing, an opportunity to shed the old ways of thinking and begin anew. As she walked on, Sarah resolved to carry this message with her. She recognized that sharing the truth behind "it is finished" could inspire others facing their own challenges. By embracing this hope-filled declaration, they too could discover freedom from their struggles, finding peace in knowing that their journeys, like Jesus, can lead to transformation and renewal. As Sarah absorbed the truth of Jesus' words, "it is finished," she couldn't help but reflect on how these words connect to the everyday struggles faced by many people, including herself. Life is often filled with challenges, whether it's anxiety about the future, feelings of inadequacy, or the pressures of daily responsibilities. In a world that can feel overwhelming at times, Jesus' message offers a source of strength and comfort. Think about it, when we confront difficulties, it's easy to become discouraged. We might feel like we're stuck in a cycle of failure and disappointment, weighed down by burdens that seem impossible to lift. Sarah recognized this reality as she thought about her own experiences, and how easily anyone can get lost in their worries. However, Jesus' declaration is an invitation to shift our perspective. When he said, "it is finished," it wasn't just a statement about his own suffering, it resonated deeply with our human condition. By proclaiming victory over sin and death, he shows us that no matter how daunting our challenges may seem, they are not insurmountable. His victory becomes our victory when we choose to embrace this truth, when we decide to lean on him instead of letting our struggles define us. Sarah remembered a time when she felt particularly overwhelmed. The weight of expectations from school and work had her questioning her worth and direction in life. It seemed every setback added another layer to her doubts. But during those moments of despair, she began to whisper those powerful words, "it is finished." What a profound reminder, she didn't have to carry the burden alone because Jesus had already won the battle for her. This connection between Jesus' sacrifice and personal struggles provides hope even in the darkest times. We are not called to bear our burdens without support, instead, we are invited to share them with God, who understands our pain intimately and offers us comfort that transcends understanding. Just as Jesus persevered through his trials, we can find strength within ourselves by remembering that he finished what was necessary for our redemption. This doesn't mean that life will be free of hardship, rather, it empowers us to recognize that each struggle can lead us closer to growth and renewal. As Sarah continued on her path, she felt invigorated by this connection between Jesus' words and her own life challenges. She wanted everyone facing obstacles to understand that they are not alone in their fight. By embracing the message of "it is finished," we're reminded that there's hope beyond our circumstances, a promise that encourages us to keep striving with faith as our foundation. Ultimately, Sarah resolved to share this newfound understanding with others, reminding them that regardless of their struggles or setbacks, they can rest in the assurance that Jesus has already paved the way for peace and redemption. By embracing this powerful truth, they too can rise above their trials and find strength in the promise of transformation. As Sarah continued to reflect on the power of Jesus' words, "it is finished," she started thinking about how many people had found hope and renewal through this profound message. She recalled hearing stories that illustrated the real-life impact of Jesus' victory over struggles and how it had transformed the lives of many. One story that came to mind was that of David, a man who had faced personal demons for most of his life. For years, he battled addiction, feeling trapped in a cycle of disappointment and hopelessness. Despite numerous attempts to overcome it, he often found himself falling back into old habits. One night, alone in his room, he remembered hearing about Jesus' sacrifice and the meaning behind "it is finished." In a desperate moment of prayer, he cried out for help and felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over him. It wasn't just the feeling of relief, it was as if a burden had been lifted off his shoulders. He realized that through Jesus' completed work, he could finally find strength to start anew. With faith guiding him, David began attending support groups and reconnecting with his family, finding hope in every small step forward. Another powerful testimony was from Maria, a young mother who faced immense pressure while raising her children alone. Juggling multiple jobs left her exhausted and often overwhelmed with feelings of inadequacy. One day, while driving home after a long shift, she heard a sermon about Jesus' words on the radio. The pastor spoke about how his death meant we no longer have to carry our burdens alone. Maria felt as if those words were meant for her personally, they pierced her heart in the best way possible. That night, she prayed and surrendered her worries to God. From that moment on, she found renewed energy within herself and started relying on her faith to guide her decisions as a parent. Then there was James, a retired veteran struggling with the scars of war. He had returned home but often felt isolated, haunted by memories that made daily life a challenge. When he arrived at church one Sunday, he saw a sign reading, "It is finished, embrace your peace." It compelled him to learn more about what that message meant in relation to his own life. Through discussions with fellow churchgoers and studying scripture, James discovered that even in his darkest moments, Jesus had already claimed victory over pain and suffering. Over time, he learned to see hope instead of despair and chose to share his journey with others facing similar battles. As Sarah reflected on these stories, she felt inspired by the impact of testimonies rooted in the truth of "it is finished." She understood that these accounts were not just tales from the past but living examples of Jesus working today in people's lives. They reminded her that she too could embrace her challenges with confidence. With renewed conviction, Sarah knew she wanted to be like them, spreading hope by sharing her own journey and encouraging others not to lose heart. Just as these individuals found strength through Jesus' powerful declaration, she too could offer comfort to those enduring their own struggles, fostering a community united by faith and resilience. After all, through "it is finished," everyone can experience renewal and the promise of transformed lives. As Sarah continued her journey of reflection, she felt a stirring within her, a desire not only to share the powerful stories of others but also to invite everyone watching to consider what "it is finished" means in their own lives. This moment was about more than just understanding a biblical phrase, it was about deeply connecting it to our personal struggles and recognizing how this truth can bring peace. Take a moment to think about the burdens you carry. Perhaps you feel weighed down by anxiety about the future, or maybe you're grappling with feelings of inadequacy in your work or relationships. It's easy to become overwhelmed by these thoughts, feeling that we must face them alone. But here lies the profound beauty of Jesus' words, "It is finished." When we reflect on this declaration, we find an invitation to release our fears and doubts. Just as Jesus completed his mission, we too can recognize that our battles do not define us. Instead, they are part of a larger journey, one that leads us toward growth and renewal. Imagine for a moment letting go of the worries that have been holding you back. Picture yourself lifting those burdens up to God, knowing that through faith, you can find solace and strength. Sarah reminded herself of specific moments in her life when she felt lost or defeated. Each time she carried those emotions alone, they felt heavier. But when she finally surrendered them to God and embraced the message of "it is finished," she found clarity and hope. She realized that she could trust in something greater than herself, the promise that Jesus had already fought the hardest battle for her. Now, it's your turn. What does it look like for you to embrace this message? Perhaps it means acknowledging a past mistake and believing that forgiveness has been granted. Maybe it involves stepping away from self-doubt and embracing the idea that you are worthy of love and acceptance just as you are. In this moment of reflection, I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable or simply take a deep breath. Picture Jesus standing before you, arms open wide, saying, "It is finished." Let those words wash over you like a wave of peace, reminding you that your struggles do not define your worth or determine your future. As you go about your day-to-day life, remember that each challenge can lead to growth and transformation when viewed through the lens of faith. You have the power to rise above difficulties because Jesus has already paved the way for you. Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose as she thought about sharing this reflective exercise with others. She envisioned creating spaces where people could come together to explore their own stories through faith, encouraging them to find healing in vulnerability and strength in community. So as we conclude today's reflection, take heart in knowing that no matter what challenges lie ahead, through Jesus' powerful declaration of "it is finished," there is always hope, a reminder that we can move forward with courage, embracing transformation and renewal in our lives. As Sarah continued to reflect on her journey and the powerful message of "it is finished," she felt a strong urge to take action, not just for herself, but for everyone watching. This moment was not merely about understanding, it was about application. It was time to inspire others to embrace the truth of Jesus' words in their daily lives. Think about your own journey for a moment, she began, her voice steady and inviting. What burdens have you been carrying? What struggles weigh you down, making it hard to take a step forward? Whether it's anxiety, fear of failure, or feelings of unworthiness, we all have something that keeps us up at night. Sarah paused, allowing viewers to connect with their own feelings. But consider what Jesus meant when he said, "It is finished." This declaration isn't just an ending, it's an invitation. An invitation to let go of those burdens that hold you back and embrace a sense of completion in your life. She continued with passion. Imagine standing at the foot of the cross, witnessing Jesus' sacrifice and hearing those profound words echoing in your heart. In that moment, he completed his mission so that you can find freedom from your struggles. You don't have to fight alone or carry your worries in silence. The weight you feel can be lifted if you choose to trust in him. With sincerity, Sarah encouraged her viewers, take a moment right now to reflect on what "it is finished" means for you personally. Let it resonate within. Allow it to remind you that whatever challenges lie ahead, they do not define you or determine your future. You are more than your mistakes or fears. Today, she urged them gently, I invite you to make a conscious choice. Imagine releasing those burdens, perhaps by writing them down and then tearing up the paper as a symbol of letting go. Speak out loud the things that trouble you and surrender them to God in prayer. Embrace the notion that Jesus has already fought the hardest battle for you. Sarah's eyes sparkled with encouragement as she shared her hope. By taking these small steps each day, you will find strength through faith and clarity in your path forward. You can carry this message into every corner of your life. Share it with friends who need encouragement. Let them know they are not alone in their struggles either. She concluded with warmth and conviction. Remember that "it is finished" signifies the beginning of something beautiful, hope. Live into this promise daily by embracing new opportunities for growth and renewal. Each day presents a chance to choose love over fear and peace over anxiety. As Sarah wrapped up her message, she smiled softly, knowing she had planted seeds of hope among her viewers. She left them with one final reminder: you are worthy. You are loved. And through Jesus' powerful declaration, there is always room for transformation in your life. With hearts open and spirits uplifted, viewers could move forward knowing they were never truly alone on their journeys. As Sarah concluded her reflections on the powerful message of "it is finished," she felt a gentle nudge to bring everything full circle with an invitation for prayer. She knew that prayer could be a source of strength and comfort, guiding everyone toward peace in their hearts and minds. Let's take a moment together, Sarah said, her voice soft and inviting. Wherever you are, I want you to find a comfortable position and close your eyes if that feels right. Allow yourself to be still as we come together in spirit. She took a deep breath before continuing, Heavenly Father, we come before you with open hearts, grateful for the gift of your Son, Jesus Christ. Thank you for his sacrifice on the cross and the profound meaning behind the words, "it is finished." In this moment, we ask for your peace to wash over us like a gentle wave. Sarah paused, allowing the listeners to soak in her words. Lord, may each person listening today feel your comforting presence as they reflect on their own struggles and burdens. We often carry worries that weigh heavy on our hearts, anxieties about the future, feelings of unworthiness or doubt, but in this moment, we lay those burdens at your feet. With sincerity in her voice, she prayed further, grant us the strength to let go of what holds us back. Help us embrace the truth that through Jesus' victory over sin and death, we too can find freedom in our lives. May your light guide our steps as we navigate through challenges and remind us that we are never alone. Sarah continued, Lord, please fill each heart with understanding of your great love and grace that surrounds us daily. Help us recognize our worthiness and remember that despite our past mistakes or worries about tomorrow, we are cherished by you. As she spoke these heartfelt words, there was an air of hope surrounding her audience. We ask for renewal in our spirits and clarity in our paths, she said softly. May we each experience transformation as we trust in you more deeply each day. In these moments of reflection, Sarah concluded her prayer gently, may we carry forward the promise of, it is finished. Let it inspire us daily to choose love over fear and faith over doubt. Thank you for being our refuge and strength in times of trouble. We trust in you now and always. After completing the prayer with a simple yet heartfelt, Amen, Sarah smiled warmly at her audience. She understood that sharing this moment not only encouraged others but also strengthened her own faith. With an uplifting final thought, she said, remember that with each new day comes fresh opportunities for hope and renewal through Jesus' sacrifice. Go forth knowing you are supported by love, both from God above and from those around you. With that sentiment lingering in their hearts, viewers could step out with renewed courage into their own journeys filled with possibility and hope. As Sarah wrapped up her heartfelt prayer, she felt a deep sense of connection with her audience. She knew this journey together was not just about sharing stories but about recognizing a shared human experience, the struggles we all face and the hope we can find through faith. Before we part ways today, Sarah said, her voice warm and inviting, I want to take a moment to remind you that you are not alone in your struggles. Life can often feel like a heavy burden, filled with uncertainties and challenges that can leave us feeling isolated and overwhelmed. But the beautiful truth is that Jesus' message continues to resonate with each of us every single day. She paused, allowing her words to sink in. When Jesus declared, "It is finished," it was not merely an ending, it was the beginning of hope and redemption for humanity. His sacrifice made it possible for us to find peace amid chaos and strength in our weaknesses. Every time we feel lost or defeated, we can draw courage from his promise. Sarah continued passionately, "Many of us might feel as though we're navigating through the darkness alone, but I assure you, there is light ahead. Jesus is always there, reaching out to us with love and understanding. When you face tough times, remember that you do not have to carry your burdens by yourself. You have a supportive community around you and a loving Savior who understands your pain." She encouraged everyone to take a moment to reflect on their own lives. What is it that weighs heavily on your heart? What fears or doubts do you need to release? Today is an opportunity to let go of those burdens and embrace the truth of, "It is finished." Let it remind you that the struggles you face do not define you, they are simply part of your journey toward growth and renewal. With newfound fervor, Sarah concluded, "As you step into this new week, I challenge you to take small moments each day to acknowledge Jesus' presence in your life. Read a verse from the Bible that resonates with you, share your thoughts with a friend, or spend time in quiet reflection. Embrace the hope that comes from knowing He has already fought the hardest battles for you. Each day is a fresh start," she added warmly. "You are worthy of love, joy, and peace. Remember that Jesus' victory over sin and death is also your victory. No matter how daunting life may seem at times, there is always room for healing, transformation, and hope." As Sarah smiled at the camera, she felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of faith. Let us walk forward together with renewed courage and purpose, knowing that we are never truly alone. May your hearts be filled with peace as you carry this message with you. "It is finished," signifies the assurance of hope every day. With those words left lingering in the air, viewers were encouraged to step confidently into their own journeys, knowing they were supported by divine love and community.